Hello everyone, it's Ray Stundle, publisher of Customer Engagement Magazine and the author of the Customer Engagement Manifesto. I'm so happy that you're here watching this video right now. A short time ago, I gave a presentation to a group of enthusiastic small business owners all about sales and marketing automation. It occurred to me that this presentation could be very beneficial to you, so that is why I've created it and have shared it with you. A long time ago, Ralph Waldo Emerson said that the law of compensation, and I quote, is directly proportional to the market need for what you do, your ability to fulfill the need, and the ease with which you can be replaced. If Mr. Emerson would be here with me now, I'm sure he would agree. Your ability to create and deploy marketing campaigns that persuade a prospect to reach out and connect with you surely is related to the amount of compensation you'll be able to generate. In this presentation, I want to walk you through some important ideas that can help you with sales and marketing automation. And I thank you for taking time to be part of this important presentation today. You will see that in this presentation, I share important ideas that you can deploy today, and I encourage you to do so. So without further ado, let's begin. How many of you have asked yourself these questions? Why aren't more people interested in my solution? Why aren't more people buying from me? And why don't my customers tell their friends? These are some pretty thought-provoking questions when you think about your business, aren't they? Well, I think these upcoming statistics may lead you to the answer. Let's take a look. 79% of marketing leads never convert into sales. Lack of lead nurturing is the common cause of this poor performance, according to Marketing Sherpa. Companies that excel at lead nurturing generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower cost, according to Forrester Research. Nurtured leads make 40% larger purchases than non-nurtured leads. Isn't this very interesting? What if you did a better job of lead nurture? Now, I'd like you to do an interactive exercise with me. And I know it might sound a little funny as you're watching this on a video, but I want you to put up your hand, leave it standing for as long as you can answer in the affirmative to the following questions, okay? I have a website. I have a way to capture leads on my website. I'm able to capture leads without using a newsletter or signing up for a blog post because I'm giving away valuable information that can help my customer on their journey to solve their solution. I follow up at least 3 times with the person who gets my lead magnet. I follow up 5 times. Is your hand still up? Well, you know what? Congratulations. You're in the minority of people, that are able to say this so far. But watch what happens now. I follow up at least 10 times. Is your hand still up? 15 times? Generally, right about now, hands start to drop significantly. When I did this in front of a live audience, after we got to 5 times, all the hands went down. Now, if I ask the next question, which is how many of you are able to modify the way in which you communicate with a prospect or a customer function of their behavior dynamically using emails and other forms of media? Most certainly, many people put their hands down, which is a shame because in today's world, technology is available to help us alleviate this problem and have a much more of a one-to-one connection with our prospects and our customers. So the agenda for today's presentation is we're going to talk a little bit about lifecycle marketing. I'm going to give you a great resource that can help you learn more about this important subject. We're going to talk about marketing campaign components. We're going to go over a case study with my good friend, Dr. Tony Alessandra, and this is all about customer reactivation. And we're going to go through a small business application and see how this could be used in a small business scenario. So let's get started and let me ask you, what is the purpose of a business? Go ahead, shout it out in front of your screen. What is the purpose of a business? By the way, if you get really engaged with me through this process, you're going to learn a lot more. Trust me. So anyway, I'm going to assume you've shutted out some ideas. Perhaps you said it's to make money. Perhaps you said it's to make a difference in the world. I'm going to suggest that the purpose of a business is to produce a happy, profitable customer and to keep a happy, profitable customer. That's it. Most people will say that it's to make a profit. I think it's part of the equation, but always remember, a profit is always as a result of a worthwhile cause, and the profit is really the effect of a worthwhile cause. The cause is to make and keep a happy customer. So let's take a look at the next question. What's the purpose of marketing? Many people will say that the purpose of marketing is to sell a product. I don't think so. I think that's too narrow a definition. To me, the purpose of marketing is to, and keep in mind these key words, ethically persuade a person to purchase a product, service, or an idea that will help them solve a problem. Let's emphasize the key words. The purpose of marketing is to ethically persuade somebody based on your ability to help them. And not always is it about buying a product or a service immediately, but perhaps it's about buying an idea that can serve them. If you can't serve them, then you really have no business marketing to them. That's my premise for everything that I do within Customer Engagement Magazine and the customer engagement message that I share with individuals. So let's continue on. Let's talk a little bit about the 6 M's of marketing. And I know somebody watching this video is going to say, oh, this is basic stuff. Well, let me tell you something. Out of everybody that I talk to, it's very rare that I find somebody who knows and, most importantly, implements what I'm about to share with you. So please take a look at what I have to say with an active mind. The first M is market. Many times when I talk to somebody about who it is that they want to serve, they provide very general answers. Very general. Small businesses. Wow. There's millions of small businesses. You can't serve all of them. I might say, well, I'm interested in the enterprise. Really? The enterprise is huge. What aspect? What vertical? What industry? What size? Who inside of the enterprise do you want to target? It's very important that you get very clear and ask yourself multiple times to get even clearer. As an example, if you would say, let's suppose that you're an accountant and you say that I serve small businesses. You should go deeper and say, what size of small business? Companies that are under 100,000 in revenue, between 100 and 500,000 in revenue, 500,000 to a million. Companies that speak English predominantly or are owned by English-speaking people, Spanish-speaking people, perhaps in a particular industry. You get the idea. You have to get really specific because if you don't, all your marketing messages and your advertising is going to fall flat like a rock in a river. You just will not get anywhere if you do not get very clear about who you want to serve. Number 2, your message. Your message is the compelling reason why somebody would like to connect with you based on your ability to meet their needs, whether that's helping them sort out a problem or to get closer to something that they want. And your message needs to be very clear and differentiated from everybody else who's in your crowded marketplace. That's right. Your marketplace is crowded. My marketplace is crowded. We have to do everything we can to stand out. Media. Many people make the faulty mistake of going straight to the media when they come up with a marketing plan. And you know why? Because it's often somebody who's selling media that gets to you and convinces you to buy some media. For example, the person who sells Yellow Pages calls up and says, hey, I'd like to help you get an ad in the Yellow Pages. All right, let's get started with Yellow Pages. Or somebody from Yelp calls up and says, we'd like to help you advertise in Yelp or Google or the radio or television. You get the point? Media is the way in which we're going to communicate. It's the medium that someone is going to experience our message. But quite often, small business owners rush right ahead to whoever's knocking on their door to put an ad in based on the form of media. So it might be a value pack coupon, it might be a Yelp ad, etc. Really, the first thing you have to think about is your market and your message, and then think about your media. Don't skip over these first two important steps. Then we need to be memorable. How often do you see something that simply is just boring or the same as everybody else? Your enemy in marketing is sameness. The more that you are the same as everybody else, the more you will be forgotten. Now, I'm not suggesting that you jump in one leg and make a joke of yourself. I'm suggesting that you find ways to intelligently communicate what you do and why someone should care about what you do in a way that stands out. Allow some of your personality to come out. Don't be too rigid in the way you communicate. Number 5 is moment. Moment really breaks down into two types of moments. One is the emotional moments in your campaign. If you're able to connect with somebody at the emotional level, you have a substantially better conversion rate. Because we are emotional creatures. We make decisions based on emotions, and then we back them up based on logic. You don't believe me? Take a look at the car lot. Go out and take a look at people who are buying cars. Personally, I love cars. One of my cars is a Corvette. And I have to tell you, it wasn't a logical reason that I purchased the Corvette. It was an emotional reason. It came down to the way I would feel in the car, the wind in my hair, the radio up a few notches, the feeling of going from 0 to 60 on an on-ramp. It was the emotional reasons that I bought the car, because it is not a logical reason to purchase that car. It's not the safest car on the road, and it's not the most fuel efficient, but it is a lot of fun to drive. So let me ask you this. What are the emotional moments that you can connect with your audience on, that they care about, that will resonate? The second part of moment has to do with realizing that there is no perfect moment. And I mean that from a campaign standpoint. Someone may decide to buy from you today, or they might decide a year and a half from now. If you're not present with your marketing, giving them an easy way, an easy road back to connect with you, you're going to lose them. Most people stop following up after just a few attempts, as we experienced in the earlier exercise that we just did. So now let's take a look at the next one. It's momentum. Once you have a warm group of prospects, your job is to keep them warm. Part of that is to build momentum and add value to them based on what it is that they're interested in. I like the term knowledge-based marketing. Share knowledge with them that can help them make a more informed buying decision that keeps them loyal to your brand, to see you as a trusted advisor. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. John F. Kennedy said this. In this context, the future is behavior-based marketing. Behavior-based marketing. Dynamic marketing that changes function of prospect behavior. This is a very exciting topic because this is the only way in which we can deliver a one-to-one marketing message that will connect with your audience. You sure can't do it by treating everybody the same. You have to treat them the way they want to be treated, borrowing from the platinum rule from Dr. Tony Alessandra, and do that in your marketing. So let's talk a little bit about how this can be accomplished. And I want you to realize that you need to have both tools, process, and marketing know-how to get the success that you need. All the tools in the world, which I will introduce you to, in the absence of process and marketing know-how, will get you nowhere. All the process with fancy flow charts going from A to B to C without the right tools and marketing know-how will get you nowhere. And you can be a great marketing guru. Without process and tools, you'll just be an armchair philosopher, as my dad would say. So let's get started and take a look at what's required. The marketing life cycle to implement sales and marketing automation is based on these 4 phases. And I have a special gift for you, which I'm going to give you, which is going to go into detail on all of these 4 pieces. Number 1 is you have to assess where you are today and where you want to go moving forward. Part of assessing your marketing is taking a look at how compelling your marketing is today to generate qualified leads who are interested and engaged in talking to you about what it is that you do, how you do it, and how it can benefit them. You might ask yourself, in terms of from an online marketing standpoint, how do you show up online? If somebody types in your name or your solution or your keywords, will they find you? When somebody goes to your website, will they be able to get more information and put their name and email address in a capture form? If you do have a database and you contact them, what are your open rates like? Your click-through rates? What happens and how much do people engage with you is a good starting point to look at. Then you could take a look at where you want to be. What do you want to accomplish? What's the purpose of your campaign? And how do you want your prospects to behave as they go through your funnel? These are all things to consider in this step. The next part is attract. And in the attract phase, we take a look at targeting the right audience so that they can be receptive to our message. We talk about being able to capture leads and ultimately to be able to nurture them and to share best practices with them so that they feel comfortable to do business with you. In the sell phase, we take a look at how we can effectively sell for the benefit of the prospect, to genuinely help them by utilizing our solution. We take a look at how we can maximize the transaction value through upselling. That's where we show complementary products and services that fit with the primary product or service that was offered. We also want to ensure that customers are happy in our sales process, that they have gotten value going through our marketing and our sales process, so that when we do sell them something and confirm the sale, we can move to the wow phase. In the wow phase, we take a look at how we can make sure that we deliver everything we said we would and ensure that our customers get maximum value from us. It's all about being able to ensure that value transfers from you to your customer and that your customer acknowledges this value and is happy with the value so that they can go about their business and ultimately refer you new prospects who can go through this cycle with you. Now, the beautiful thing about this model is that you can jump in anywhere within these 4 gears to get started. Of course, it is a logical flow, but if you're having particular issues when it comes to sales, jump into that gear and work on it. And then come back and take a look at which is your next most important gear to work. Because you might already have a group of great qualified leads, but you're not effectively able to confirm them into your business to then serve them. So I want to show you a graphic that can help make this a little bit easier to understand. And it's important that when you look at this graphic, you think about this in every step that I'm about to present to you, how you can ask yourself, what am I doing at each of these critical steps? So the first step is you have to attract traffic. Without any traffic, people who are even remotely interested in what you do, you can't go anywhere, can you? You'd be surprised how many businesses create what they believe to be great solutions and just hope that people will just stumble across them and just buy it. They almost view it as the business is creating the solution, and if it's a great solution, it should just sell itself. And they just need to stick out their hand and a customer is going to go and put some money in it, and then with their other hand, they'll hand over a bag with the goodies in it. This is faulty. Realize the essence and major part of your business is sales and marketing. Especially in today's world where there are so many different products in a given category, the differentiator comes down to the customer experience and comes down to your ability to market and sell your solutions. So then the next step is to go about capturing leads. This is where we use a magnet. Imagine that there is a needle in a haystack. Would you like to be the guy who has to go into that haystack to try and find the needle? Or would you like to have a super duper powerful magnet that can suck that needle out of that haystack without you having to dig into it? That's exactly what this marketing model is all about. It's about having compelling content that gets the prospect to raise their hand and voluntarily enter into a conversation with you. The next step is to deliver on that conversation, add value to that conversation, make that prospect feel very comfortable with you, because this is where we build our relationship with them, solve part of their problems, and nudge them and encourage them to communicate and talk directly with you. If in fact you need to talk with them directly to sell your solution, in some cases you might be able to sell your solution online. Now I know what you're thinking. This might just be for business to consumer scenarios. That's not right. This applies to both business to business and business to consumer, because at the end of the day, we will want somebody in a B2B scenario to stick up their hand and ask for a sales meeting, because they are interested in what we do and understand the value of what we do. So the next step here is to convert this prospect into a happy customer. And as we do so, we will be able to capture some revenue. And as we follow on, we have to then deliver and satisfy the customer, follow up with some upsell opportunities to give more value to them and to capture more revenue, and then get some referrals so that we can begin this process again. And this time have an easier time at it, because we already have people who are warm and understand who we are in the marketplace. Now let's take a look at this in a slightly different way. So with an example, let's suppose that you put out some ads on the internet. Let's say that you like to use Facebook for PPC, pay-per-click advertising, or Google, or you have some people coming to your website through the SEO, search engine optimization, that you've done on your page. However you did it, you're able to get somebody to come to a lead capture page. And this is where you ask them for a name and an email address in exchange for giving them something really, really good. Then you follow up delivering on what you promised to give them with more information that is of high quality. This isn't just email that you send because you heard you have to have something to send them to beat them over the head with so that they can eventually contact you. No. That's not what we're talking about here, guys. We're talking about adding value, adding serious value to the decisions your prospect needs to make. The more added value you give away for free, the more you will leave your competition in the dust, scratching their head, wondering what the heck is happening. Now, as you go through this process, you're going to give rise to somebody who wants to buy from you. So we're going to convert the prospect to a customer. We're going to capture revenue. We're going to then deliver the value we said we would with a few initial emails, which we call a new customer campaign. This is intended to motivate, instruct, and inspire your customers to get the maximum value out of using your solution. Just because they bought doesn't mean they're going to get full value unless you help them do so. Now, once we have a reasonably good feeling that value has been exchanged, we can begin the conversation of selling more interesting products and services to them so that they can get even more value. Finally, we automatically and systematically every time ask for referrals, especially after we have surveyed our prospects and customers to know who is very happy with us, medium happy, and not happy. Those that are very happy, we always ask for referrals. Those that are medium happy, we will reach out and connect with to find out why they're not super happy. Those people that are not happy or detractors are people we will proactively call to make sure that we can make things better. Because the last thing you need is somebody who is not happy with your brand and goes about making a lot of noise in the marketplace to detract people from coming to you. See, the benefit of a system like what I am sharing with you is that you can gain visibility and proactively reach out to people before they get agitated and reach out towards you and make a fool of you online. Don't believe me? Go ahead and take a look at YouTube and type in this catchphrase, United breaks guitars. You'll find a perfect example of a country singer who unfortunately had his guitar broken by United Airlines. He then proceeded to make a song about his experience, which has been viewed by millions and millions of people. Do you think that hurt United Airlines' brand reputation? Now, I'm not saying your customers may be country singers. Maybe they are. But I do know that everybody has a voice and everybody has a good friend. And you want to minimize the negative repercussions of an unhappy customer. I hope this graphic has served you so far, because now we're going to go into a little bit more detail and I want to offer you a present. I want you to fully understand what lifecycle marketing is all about. I've just scratched the surface here. Go to automatesalesandmarketing.com. Do so right now. Pause this video, put in your name and email address, and get this special report. And yes, for those of you that are smiling, this is an example of a lead capture page. This is an example of a lead magnet. And what will flow once you put your name and email address is a campaign where I will share with you demonstrations of software solutions, demonstrations of campaigns that could be used in your business, and encourage you to want to talk with me. I'm being absolutely transparent and authentic with you. So if you want to learn about lifecycle marketing and want to watch a campaign in action, I encourage you to check this out. This report is filled with lots of video and beautifully laid out text that will really help you and your team move forward. All right, enough of the commercial. Let's keep going. Let's talk about campaign components. One of the first things you need to consider is traffic. Traffic can come from a variety of different sources, whether it's on social media, direct mail, existing lists, JV partners, all kinds of sources. I want you to think about all the different sources of traffic you can generate to come to a website where you can capture leads. I'd like to give you an example now, if that's okay. I'd like you to think about this strategy, and that is create a list of your 10 biggest questions you always get asked about your solution. Make an answer, write it down, and then make a conversational video where you answer each of the 10 questions. So now you have 10 videos answering 10 questions, right? Well, put those videos up on YouTube. Link to your lead capture page. On your lead capture page, give them a special report, perhaps a buyer's guide on your topic area, and then deliver all 10 of these videos in a logical sequence to them. You can also share your lead capture page on Twitter and on Facebook. You can make comments on your blog about some of the aspects that you touch on in this video series and direct people to your lead capture page. You can have a webinar that you talk about other things related to your niche in terms of providing value to them and teaching and educating, and then advertise that you have 10 great videos and a special report to help people make an informed buying decision. Do you see how I have linked one type of traffic source to multiple others? Do you realize that all of these videos can be transcribed into audios? These audios, can be turned into audios, and from audios have taken into transcription or text. And this in itself can be content on your website so that you don't constantly have to answer the same questions over and over again. By the way, creating this text and putting it on your website will also help Google index you faster because you give it more text to determine if you're relevant or not. Let's move on to our next topic, and that is goals. In life, in business, and in marketing campaigns, you need goals. Goals are the key components of a campaign that measure how successful we are. In a campaign, you might have a goal where you want somebody to sign up for a newsletter or be part of your initial campaign. This is a goal. And until somebody reaches that goal, you may attempt to persuade them. Perhaps you have a link click goal. An example of this is where you send out an email where you invite somebody to look at your special report, and if they don't respond, you send them another email, and then you wait a couple days and send them another email. Well, this is an example of behavior-based marketing because we are factoring in the idea that they did not actually click on the link. So therefore, we can send some reminder messages. However, if the goal is reached, we do not longer need to send any reminder messages. Goals can also include, for example, purchasing online and going through your shopping cart, having them request a meeting with you, being able to watch and see if they downloaded a file or registered for an event. These are all examples of goals that you have in a campaign, and unless a goal is reached, they don't get past that step of the campaign. Why? Because it's not going to be relevant to them in the future, unless you want to allow some people to continue to go forward even though they didn't take a particular action, but you're tracking it anyway, because you might want to, for example, send them an email that says, hey, what'd you think of the special report? I see you downloaded it 4 hours ago. You see the beauty of this? You can adjust your message based on the actions the prospect has taken. Let's take a look at sequences. A sequence has a few definitions, but in this context, a sequence is a logical group of messages that are separated by time delay. For example, invitation email 1 to see something, some time goes by, reminder 1, reminder 2, and so forth. You might, for example, have a sequence where you have fixed times, like you want to invite somebody to a webinar, and therefore you want a message to go out on a certain day. Or you want to wish somebody happy birthday on their birthday, and therefore have a campaign designed to do so. This can happen on a specific day. There are many different examples of campaigns and sequences. An email confirmation sequence is one which is intended to make sure that they have opted in. And opted in means that they have given you permission to communicate with them. This is very important because in today's world where spam laws continue to get more and more difficult, like in places like Canada, and on July 1st, 2014, they made a ruling that if you don't have permission to market to people in Canada, you can get in trouble. This is a trend that is going to continue into other countries as well. So the purpose of an email confirmation is to get their permission so that you can then share great content with them. The late and great Jim Rohn said, "Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals." If I would talk to you about relationships, where if we would casually observe a boy and a girl connecting with each other, and let's say that they're at the age of 20. Well, it seems pretty natural. You get to know somebody, you start to build a common understanding, you understand their values, you proceed to get to know them better, so on and so forth. Why is it that when we go through the marketing dance, when we are connecting with people online, we seem to skip a few steps, and then the customer or the prospect is a little bit agitated that you're being a little pushy? Do you know what I mean? We know how to do this in real life, and we can do this in online and in our marketing because we can use the body language that our customers and our prospects are giving us so that we can adjust our message. You might say, "Ray, what are you talking about? Body language." I call it technological body language, because we can tell by the actions they take based on how they interact with our campaign, whether they're open to hearing from us or are not open to hearing from us. What you see on the screen right now is an example of a very, very basic campaign. On the left-hand side of the screen, you see examples of traffic: blog, Twitter, printed ad, existing list, webinar. And all of this traffic is going to a lead magnet sign-up page. Remember, a lead magnet is a high-value piece of content or something that the customer views as high value that they're willing to give their contact information, typically their name and email address, in exchange for. And then to the right of that, you see where it says email confirmation request. This is where we are verifying that we have the approval of the prospect to communicate with them. And that big check mark, it's a goal. It's waiting to be satisfied. Then in the next sequence, we give away a lead magnet. There might be a few messages in there to remind somebody along the way. And up at the top with a circle where it says indicate interest, this is where we have a goal, and it's watching. It's saying, did you click on the link? Yes, no. If yes, proceed. If no, fire off another reminder message. Maybe they were sleeping. Maybe they were on vacation. Maybe they just didn't get a chance to look at the first message. And then you have another follow-up routine, and ultimately, let's say that they go to purchase something online. This is a very basic campaign, and if you opt in to the page that I shared with you about automatesalesandmarketing.com, I will reveal to you a more complicated one that could serve your business, and I'll share a few things with you here as well. There are two distinct campaign phases. The first is a customer reactivation campaign, and the second is a seed launch. Let's take a look at a case study with my good friend and client, Dr. Tony Alessandra. So Dr. Tony has a large number of subscribers. He's got multiple lists that he has gathered over the years. He is a professional speaker and an author and a consultant and has a variety of different businesses. And he's a behavioral scientist. He has over 100,000 subscribers. And he's had very little communication with these subscribers over the years. And a wide variety of people know Tony through different means. Some know him through his shopping cart, past speech clients, etc. And the problem here is that customers are not very connected to Tony's brand. So what he needed is the ability to identify real subscribers from fake email addresses or email addresses that are no longer working. He wanted to provide lots of value to them so that they could reconnect with him and what he does and how he can serve them. He proceeded to work with me in creating a journey map to understand what it is that we could provide to them that would help them go from where they are to where they want to go. An easy way to think about this is the ABCDZ method. In this campaign, we are helping them get from where they are, letter A, this is where they emotionally are today, to letter Z. And in the campaign, we give away content and tools, which gets them from B to C to D. And in this process, we're generating a lot of goodwill, which is helping us build our emotional bank account. And at the same time, we are getting this audience to be ready to listen to a sales campaign and a sales message that will happen later. But don't get me wrong, this campaign is giving away close to $200 of real value that people pay for every day through his shopping cart. Now, as we continue on with this case study, the next step is going to be to do a seed launch to sell the virtual training platform that Dr. Tony has. And as part of that, we will be capturing leads, delivering strong teaching components to drive engagement, providing demonstration videos, and I encourage you to think about how you can demonstrate what it is that you sell today. Encouraging people to take a trial of his virtual training platform, providing case studies that show social proof of what people have been able to accomplish as a result of taking the training, addressing frequently asked and should ask questions, which is a very powerful way of doing and handling objections, because you state the questions that are on your customers' minds and you state really good ones that they themselves may have not thought about. And in doing so, you are able to encourage trust. And trust and the speed with which you can create trust is directly related to how often somebody chooses to do business with you. The higher they have, the higher amount of trust they have, the greater amount of confidence they have in your ability to solve a problem, the faster they'll be willing to put money in your hand. Value-focused sales videos. Again, everything is about delivering value. A sales-a-thon live broadcast. You might consider doing a PBF special type broadcast where you teach, motivate, instruct, and inspire, but then you also provide bonuses, you also share case studies, you also encourage and persuade somebody to contact you or to purchase your solution, and then again, the cycle repeats. And ultimately, long-term nurture to stay in touch for 52 weeks at least, so that people have an easy way to get back in touch with you to purchase your products and services. So the next thing I'd like to talk about in this presentation is small business marketing and sales automation. I'm willing to bet that you have a few sets of needs. You have a need to capture leads per target segment, as we've talked about. You have a need to create permission-based marketing messages and make sure you can communicate with them without any problem. You want to build trust, and you want your customers to be in a better place after they have connected with you than before they connected with you. You want to differentiate yourself. You don't want to be another Me Too provider, because you know Me Too providers are never going to build the type of business you want to build. You also want to be able to have customized responses based on the actions somebody takes. And you want to be able to ultimately confirm sales and grow your platform, and do so with less time, money, and energy, and frankly, headaches. You want to be able to have a system that can communicate and connect and follow up and follow through without your direct involvement, because you've set up a system once and then are able to adjust it as needed. But the fundamental messaging is in place and the value systems are in place. And now what you are able to do is concentrate on the leads that are truly marketing qualified, who already know what you do, understand your value, and are ready to participate in the sales process. So what are your next steps? I've shared a lot of great ideas with you in this program, and I hope you can see that and can see how you can directly change the conversation. One of my goals for this presentation, and I hope I've met it, is to transform the way you think about sales and marketing in your business. To transform your thinking to realize that marketing is all about helping people. The way in which you do that is through campaigns. And what I want to suggest you do is right now make a commitment to yourself to implement sales and marketing automation to follow up. You can use this tool that I'm giving to you. It's a very powerful tool. It's one that I have given away to thousands of individuals. It is called Lifecycle Marketing. It's a special report with video training. It is at least of the same caliber of this video. And I go into a lot of details and depth, and I make it easy for you to understand. Everything is waiting for you. Just go to automatesalesandmarketing.com and enjoy this special report. Enjoy the demos that I have prepared for you. And specifically, you will see how you can deploy my methodology, tools, and process to help grow your business. There are millions of campaigns you can run, and the approach that I advocate is very flexible. Whether you're interested in simply delivering a newsletter or delivering messages to wish somebody a happy birthday, or you want to get more complicated than that and perhaps deliver coupons and understand if somebody received and used those coupons, or perhaps you have a more complicated product or service and require the need of educating your marketplace. All the answers and examples are available to you if you go to automatesalesandmarketing.com. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video presentation. If you'd like to connect with me, you can do so by emailing me directly at ray@raystendal.com.